All right, so it's been a pretty uneventful week in politics so far. The only major story of sorts currently is the hurricane that is barreling down on Florida. It's slated to hit somewhere around Tampa, the south of Tampa, which, I guess the meteorologists have all been saying this is possibly the storm of the century. I try not to believe the fear-mongering. Obviously, there's a good chance that it could hit, and it could hit really hard. It's going to hit hard no matter what. But there's also a chance that it could hit the mainland and really lose some power. So, you just got to keep an eye on it. You can't just, say, oh, this is the storm of the century, this is the next Katrina. What makes it the next Katrina is if it's handled poorly, which leads me into my next topic. This is why this storm is so crucial to the election this year. If this storm does horrible damage to Florida, and a lot of stuff gets destroyed, and a lot of people are lost, the Biden administration is going to be held responsible. They're going to be held responsible for the cleanup, for getting people, back on their feet. So the big story, about this whole thing is that Harris decided to give DeSantis a call, just to offer help or whatever the case, and DeSantis didn't pick up the phone. He didn't pick up the phone because she has not helped through any other storm through the past 3.5 years. So why is she trying to do it all of a sudden now? She claims that him not picking up the phone is making the storm political. I would like to argue, and a lot of other people have argued, that her making the call in the first place is trying to make the storm political. She hasn't offered to help with any other storm in 3.5 years. Why is she trying to do it all of a sudden now? Maybe because her name is at the top of the Democratic ticket. Maybe she understands that if she doesn't try and, seem somewhat competent and willing to, be a leader, that's going to lose her the election. And especially after how they just mishandled Hurricane Helene that just completely ravaged North Carolina and, the southeastern corridor of the United States. In other news, I decided to check some of the 538 polls. Quinnipiac just released their next round of polls for a couple of swing states. Basically what you'll see, I checked the five of the most important swing states, I think, which is the Blue Wall, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, Nevada, and North Carolina. North Carolina is showing 51-49, I believe, in favor of Harris, but that's within margin of error. The other, Nevada, was 49-46, I believe, 49-47, somewhere around there, which is also within margin of error. I believe that polling, for the most part, underrepresents Donald Trump. The other major polls I thought were really interesting is right now with that Quinnipiac poll, it shows Trump up in a two-way toss-up, 51-47, I believe is what it was, in Wisconsin, or 51-49, something like that. Him on the other side of that, and with him being underrepresented in polls, that means he could win that state theoretically by like 8 points. And the same goes with Michigan. I believe that number was 50-47, and it drops to 49-47 in a six-way poll or a four-way poll, something like that. I'll pull them all up here so you can see. Just take a couple seconds to look at these. These are all in 538, so this is all public information. But yeah, it's very interesting. Some of these swing states, I'm pretty sure the only way Kamala Harris can win is if somehow she wins North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and one of the other two blue wall states. I want to say that North Carolina is likely to go towards Trump. So then that means that I believe Harris has to win all three of the blue wall. And if she's losing right now in Michigan and Wisconsin, it's over. This election, don't not go vote, though. You still need to vote. Just looking at the polls at least, and considering that polls are very left-leaning, they prefer Democrats 99.9% of the time, that's a good sign. There's some good signs coming from here. But that also means, looking at all this, and we're sitting here under the impression that Trump's going to win this thing. What happens November 6th when we all wake up? And all the polling places decided to rake in a couple more votes overnight. And somehow Harris wins. I'm not saying it's going to happen. Obviously, I don't know anything. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm just, looking at it the way it happened in 2020, happening this year. What happens when we wake up? I don't know. The moral of the story here is we just need to make this thing too big to rig. That's why Trump keeps saying it, and that's why almost every Republican is parroting it. You have to make it too big to rig. But anyways, that's it for this video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed. Here's a couple more videos on the screen now. take a look if you want. Hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one.